There's this quote by Tony Robbins. He said, "Whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will receive." I found myself listening to a lot of these speeches and videos, and initially, I'm really intentional about the messages I hear. I remember hearing this quote and started implementing this by writing down my goals and reading over them every morning. Despite this, I felt a lot of sadness and negativity in my life. We spend all of our time thinking about our careers and our relationships, so we put all of our effort into improving this, but we forget about the things that make up the other 90% of our lives. Our automatic traits, our responses to the simple things. There were all of these changes in my situation and lifestyle, but I remain the same. Whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will receive. I was holding negativity in my mind and I was receiving negativity. Something would occur throughout the day and my reaction would straight away be negative. It would be raining and I'd be frustrated because I wanted to do something outside. It would be sunny and I'd be frustrated because I wanted to go outside and enjoy it, but I couldn't. Yeah, maybe those things were valid. There are negative things to everything, but of course, there are also positives to everything. We need to think about what we want, not what we don't want. When it's raining, be happy for the rain and the things you get to do on rainy days. When it's cloudy, be happy that it is cloudy and the things you get to do on cloudy days. And when it's sunny, well, be happy that it's sunny and the things you get to do when it's sunny. Those same moments, I could have thought about how nice it is to have a cozy day in a nice warm house while getting the beautiful droplets of water falling outside my window. Or how good it was to just even get 30 minutes working outside in the sun when normally I wouldn't have that opportunity. Those moments can either steer us in a negative direction or a positive direction. Same circumstance, different reaction, different outcome. What impacts us isn't what happens to us, but our reaction to it. See, positivity, it breeds positivity. Negativity breeds negativity.
All you got to do is start changing the way you think. It's as simple as, it's not a magic trick. You can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity. It's a real simple exercise to do. I do it every morning before I walk out the door. So I walk out as a positive person. You know, I get tired sometimes. That's different from being negative because I get mentally drained from my job at times. But to coat your mind from negativity, the way you can put a coating around your mind is with one simple thing: gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. I'm gonna show you how this works. If you wake up in the morning and you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping, I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel, in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop, just stop for a second and start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want, everything you already have, because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get yourself something to eat, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go and turn the key and call someplace home, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you're beautiful, that's another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you, I don't even know you. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you.
I think back to this one day, this moment which was so significant, but has placed such a big impact in my life. I would spend half of my time talking bad about other people. It was never bad intention, but any conversation I would have would lead to things like, I can't believe they did that, or what were they thinking when they said that? What an idiot. This one day, the gym I worked for was hosting a little jog with the members. It was something that we did weekly. This guy rocked up in what looked like just this baggy old white underwear and no shirt. He didn't do it for the sake of making a joke or standing out. The guy was just a little socially off. And he was really pumped up to go for that run and didn't want to have anything hold him back. Everyone was having a laugh at him behind his back, but this guy was just over there causing no problems, talking with his friend, excited about the challenge of the run. I felt really bad about myself, thinking about how I was the one that would make all these jokes all the time. This guy only needs to hear a bad comment once or twice to completely ruin his free spirit. This guy who had done nothing bad to anyone had no negative intention. He was just being him. I told myself that day that I would never judge anyone who has no bad intentions. At first, I would have to fight off this initial reaction of seeing something and thinking, what an idiot. I would see people like that guy in the baggy old white underwear and think about how awesome it is that he just doesn't give a fuck about how he looks and just wants to crush this run. All of a sudden, my relationship started to get better. I've always been able to create a great community of people around me since then, which is always inclusive, where people are cheered on for being themselves, where the quiet and awkward people are finally able to make connections and not be shut out. That simple little shift had such a profound impact on me and is now a completely automatic thing. So how do you leave your responses? Do you steer straight to the negative aspects? I want you to spend a day of being extremely aware of your thoughts and responses. These little moments all throughout the day, how do you react? When you're at the gym and someone bangs the weight on the floor, do you side-eye them and think, how rude? Or do you look over and get fired up just by seeing that pride on their face for how strong they feel when they lifted those weights? When someone comes in a few minutes late to an appointment, are you thinking how rude they are for not respecting your time? Or are you working at something else while you wait and are actually kind of glad that you got that extra bit of work in or that extra bit of downtime? These hundreds of little moments throughout the day, they can either keep you in a state of negativity or positivity. Until you control these emotions, you're never going to be able to take control of the big moments. This book that I just read, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Ben Hardy, talk about how we can either live in the gap or live in the gain. So imagine this, you set a goal for yourself. You work tirelessly towards it, but when you get there, instead of feeling accomplished, you find yourself thinking about the next goal, the next milestone. You measure your success against an ever-moving target, always focused on what you haven't achieved. This isn't living in what is known as the gap. The gap is a mindset that measures our success against our ideals, the perfect future we imagine. While it's natural to aspire for more, constantly living in the gap means seeing ourselves as inadequate. We overlook our progress and diminish our achievements, making happiness just a distant horizon that we never seem to reach. It limits us in our potential. We're at a crucial step and we think about how last time we failed, so we step back, we get off that ledge to something that could be life-changing. But there's another way, a better way to live. It's called the gain. Living in our gain means measuring your progress against where you started, not against the end goal. It means looking back and appreciating how far you've come, acknowledging the efforts you've made and the victories you've achieved, no matter how small they might seem. This shift in perspective changes everything. When you live in the gain, you cultivate gratitude, you recognize your growth, and this recognition fuels your confidence and your happiness. You start to see success isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey, the continuous improvement along the way. We are not spending our whole lives chasing perfection, which will never come, but living in gratitude and pride. Think about it. Every small win, every step forward, every lesson learned, these are your gains. They are proof of your resilience, your determination, and your progress. By focusing on these gains, you build a foundation of positivity and self-worth. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about fostering a mindset that propels you forward. When you appreciate your gains, you build momentum. It propels you forward, it makes you run while others stutter. Your past successes remind you of your capabilities and motivate you to tackle future challenges with renewed energy and optimism. So I have an alarm set every night at 8 p.m, reminding me to think about the highlight of my day. No matter how bad your day was, there's always a highlight. At first it was hard to think of a highlight, but now it's easy. I start seeing positive highlights in everything that I do. It's normal to still have bad moments, but when you can end your day in the gain, you go to bed and wake up with optimism. We exit that state of the gap and always step back into the gain. Now think about what you hold in your mind on a continuous basis. Not just those significant intentional thoughts that we have right at the start of the day, but all of those insignificant moments throughout the day, all of those subconscious thoughts that continue to tap us on the shoulder all throughout the day, causing us to look away from the person that we want to be. It is not always the sharp turns that take us away from our destination, but those slight little missteps of 1 degree all throughout the day, all throughout our life. You have the ability to change the way you think. Now go out there and live your potential.
Someone's watching this and they have something they want to change, and it's not sticking, then maybe it's the environment. Maybe you could check about your habits, but maybe it's your beliefs and your values. Some people will not get themselves to read every day because they don't value reading every single day, right? Some people won't, let's say the behavior they want to change is, we did a podcast on how to remember names. I could teach them step by step on how to remember the name of most people that they meet, yet they won't do it because they don't value it, or because that's not important to them, or they don't believe that they can, right? Just like we talked about earlier, saying your brain is like a supercomputer, and your self-talk is a program it runs. If you tell yourself not go to remember names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. They don't have a belief that enables that. So when I say all behavior is belief-driven, if you want to do this behavior, whatever it is, journal, whatever it is, then you need a belief that allows that to happen, because that's the program that allows it.
So how do you get that belief? Because you're going to feel like you're faking it.
Right.
That's where most people stop, right? They think, okay, I get it. I hear what Jim is saying, that if I am able to shift my belief, then I can get a different behavior, but I don't believe it. Yeah. So now I'm just sort of faking it. How do you help people overcome that?
Right. And so so some people approach it like, they know this quote where they fake it till they make it, right? So my thing with belief is, like when I do trainings in groups or online, my favorite way of changing a belief is getting them to do something they never thought they could do, because it opens up another possibility.
Like what?
So for example, in 1954, Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile, right? And so, which is amazing, right? Throughout human history, nobody could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Now, if you look into it, how he was able to do it is he would visualize himself crossing the finish line, looking at the clock, and it says 3:59, because he knew that success is an inside-out process. That first it had to happen in here in order for it to happen out there, right? Dr. Wayne Dyer has this famous phrase where it's not, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, I'll see it when I believe it, right? Because it's the opposite, right? And so I always like modeling the outliers, where most people kind of dismiss them. I was like, well, what's going on there that allows this person to get this kind of result, right? And so with Roger Bannister, he saw it in here, be able to produce it outside, just like any innovator or inventor or writer or any creator, right? But what was interesting is, after that, what happened? Nobody could do it from the beginning of humanity. All of a sudden, one person does it. What happens after that?
Everybody.
Yeah, everyone starts doing it. And so that's the thing. Now, what happened? Was there a big change that year in, training methodology and nutrition? Or no, it was a change of belief, right? Because the belief back then was, if you ran a mile in less than 4 minutes, not only would you die, it was your heart would explode in your chest. And think about it, that would, and I'm a runner, right? That would keep me not just running, that wouldn't keep me from running for me, that would keep me from running, period. Right? And so my thing is that was a change of a reference. That shook up a belief. So my goal with people when it comes to learning is get themselves to do something they never thought they could do. And then it opens up another possibility. It literally opens up their nervous system for something, what else could be possible. When I grew up, we didn't have we had no money, right? I had no education because I was a very learning challenge. I didn't know anybody, right? So I feel like it's not, when people that's where they'll go though. When there's a stopgap between where they are and where they want to be, they'll say, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the education, or I don't have the intelligence, I don't have the network, or anything else like that. And what you know, as for all incredible success you've had and the value you've created for the world, is that it's not about resources, right? Because we know a lot of people who didn't have any resources that were able to impact the world. It's about our internal resources. And what I'm saying is optimizing our environment, optimizing our behaviors, our capabilities, our beliefs and our values, and our identity, right? At the highest level, our identity, because you can't just change your belief or your values or your behavior even if you don't believe you're that kind of person. That's why I kind of always go to the superhero mythos, because I want people to claim that identity. I call it the superhero you, that version of ourselves, that we're not waiting for Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman. It's like, you are Wonder Woman, you are Batman, you are Superman. It's just we have to commit ourselves to be able to unleashing